Today's video is brought to you by Squarespace. Hey guys, Jonathan here with TLD. Hope you guys are having an awesome day. And for those who have been following the video world, know that as of last week, the Panasonic GH4 is official. So I've had mine for a few days now. I posted a couple teasers on Twitter and on Instagram. And I've been getting tons of questions on when is the video coming. Now I really wanted to spend some time with it and learn it because prior to this video, I've always been a Canon guy. So in terms of DSLR video, I started out with a Canon 7D, then I kind of downgraded down to a 60D, but only because it had the flippable LCD. But for me, that was perfect. I then moved up to a Canon 5D Mark III, and about 6 months ago, even though it's not a DSLR, I made the plunge into a Canon C100. That's what I've been using since then, and that has hands down been my favorite camera, period. So if you haven't caught it by now, this video is actually being recorded with the GH4. It's in 4K. Well, it's actually technically 3840 by 2160, so it's UHD, but if you go to the YouTube quality option, you'll actually see a 4K option. Now I do want to note though and point out that the GH4 is capable of true cinema 4096 by 2160 resolution. You have to actually go into the settings to enable that. So when I was getting my test footage, I did not have that enabled, so that's why I'm shooting in 3840 by 2160 right now. So this video essentially is my first impressions of the GH4 after about a week of use. For some reason, I'm always a little apprehensive and a little hesitant to do camera videos. I think mainly because I feel there's so many more knowledgeable and talented people when it comes to cameras that I get a little shy, I guess, but I'm gonna do my best to give you guys my rundown. So this video is a little more casual. It's not going to be super technical, but if you do want to see a more detailed, in-depth review, let me know by hitting that like button. So a little quick info about the GH4, just in case you have not been following. It's a mirrorless micro four thirds camera, and my first impressions of it is that it's really small. The first day I got it, I actually threw it on a set of Blackmagic cinema camera handles just to see how it would feel on a rig. It worked really well. I was able to get some pretty stabilized shots, but to be honest, the thing is so damn light that you really kind of don't need that. And as a little segue from the Blackmagic handles, I was actually testing out the production 4K camera, and if you guys want to see a comparison of that versus the GH4, definitely let me know. Now getting back to the lightness of the GH4, it kind of almost feels like a toy when you compare it to a 5D or even like a C100, which absolutely dwarfs it. But I took the same test and took it off the handles and kind of messed around and see how it would feel free-handed. Now because the camera is so small, you're able to do a lot of things that you maybe couldn't normally do with heavier cameras. So if you're using handheld, that in combination with the really light lens combinations gives you a lot of room to do some cool stuff. So speaking of lenses, in terms of what I picked up to go alongside my GH4, I grabbed the Panasonic Lumix G Vario 12-35 f2.8 lens. And if you have no idea or are not familiar with micro four thirds cameras, you might look at that focal length and say, holy balls, that is wide as crap. But actually, because of the crop factor, which is 2 times on the GH4, that 12-35 is actually equivalent to a 24-70 on something like a full frame 5D Mark III. As you guys can hear, I got the pups arguing in the background. So here's a little quick clip of them. So you guys can see Melody barking at Big Mac, and she actually just got her summer haircut. So she's looking all super clean. She's such a tiny little dog with her haircut. Big Mac is licking the lens. Big Mac, you're in 4K, dude. Now, a quick side note, your average run-of-the-mill SD cards are not going to work with the GH4 in terms of 4K video recording. This is 100 megabits per second, so you need a really fast SD card to accompany it. I actually picked up a Kingston and a stupid, ridiculously fast SanDisk Extreme card, both of which I will have linked down below. So far, both have worked perfectly. Obviously, the SanDisk is rated much faster, but I haven't had any problems with the Kingston. Again, if you guys do want to see a full review, I'll get into more detail on these SD cards in that video. Now also something that's insanely cool with the GH4 is the fact that at 1080p, you can actually shoot up to 96 frames per second for super slow motion video. So I will definitely be having some fun with that, testing it out and bringing you guys the results. I also got to say autofocus has been really nice. Now for me, coming from the 5D and the C100, that's not something that I've got to experience. I know it's out there on the 70D, but for me it's new and it's definitely been a great experience so far. Speaking of autofocus, right now I have it on the face detect, so if you guys want to let me know how that's working, I can see it tracking my face right now. But for me, that's something, like I said, I've never had before, so definitely let me know what you guys think of the face focus detection with a comment down below. In terms of video quality, I've also been pleasantly surprised with it. I was a little bit worried coming from the C100, even though that's 1080p. The video image is amazing. Like, it's one of the best images I've seen on a camera, period. So I was a little apprehensive coming to the GH4, but I've been pleasantly surprised so far, and it's actually a lot more detailed and sharp than I thought it would be. One thing that I've noticed that videographers and filmmakers should really find useful is within the GH4, there's actually two cinema-style presets in terms of color profiles. Out of those two, however, preset 1 is definitely what I prefer, although I will say out of the box, it's a little more saturated than I normally like. So here's an example of a straight, untouched, unaltered cinema preset 1. You can see it's definitely really saturated for me anyways. And once I actually cranked that down to about -3, -4, that was really more along the style that I like and prefer. So here's a similar clip, but with the saturation cranked down a little bit, about 3 or 4 like I mentioned, and you can see, to me, that looks a lot more visually appealing and a little closer to something like I'm used to on the C100. So like I said, this has mainly been my first impressions of the GH4. If you guys do want to see comparisons of this against the Blackmagic 4K camera, these pups are going at it again, let me know with a comment down below. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that footage. If you did, and you are feeling like being awesome, make sure to hit that like button. It is much appreciated, and of course it does help the channel out. Now before I hop out here, I want to give a huge shout out to Squarespace for helping support the channel and helping us create content like this. So if you guys weren't aware, Squarespace is one of the simplest and easiest ways to set up your own website. They have over 20 customizable templates, drag and drop functionality, so it's insanely easy to use. Everything is optimized to look good automatically, so whether you're on your laptop, your smartphone, or your tablet, it is gonna look fantastic. They also have a killer 24-hour, 7-day-a-week support team based out of New York City, and pricing starts out at just $8 a month with a free domain if you sign up for a year. So if you guys have been looking to create your own websites, maybe a blog to go along with your YouTube channel, this is a pretty sweet way to do that. And if you guys use the offer code TLD at checkout, that'll get you a free trial, no credit card required, and 10% off your order if you decide you like it and you want to keep using it. So again, that is TLD at checkout. You guys get a badass deal and help the channel out at the same time. Again, this is Jonathan with TLD. Let me know what you guys want to see in the full review of the GH4, and I will see you guys later.